Many of you will know what a ceremony is, and many of you may have danced and sang at a brush dance, or at the war dance, or white deerskin dance. And there's a story about the ceremonies. Ceremonies didn't just happen. They were given to us by Ikareev, and there was one Ikareev in particular. His name was Káruk Tribe, and he looked all over this world. When the human beings first came and first grew here on this world, Káruk Tribe looked all over the world to find a place big enough to have a ceremony to fix the world. And he looked up the Salmon River at Forks of the Salmon. And he looked all up and down and he didn't find a place big enough. Then he went and looked all around the world and he went to Inam, Clear Creek. And he said, this is big enough. This place is big enough. We can have a world renewal here. And then he went and he found Orleans, Panamnik. And at Panamnik he said, this is big enough. And so we have a world renewal at Panamnik. And then he went to Katimin. And at Katimin he said, this place is big enough. And so we have a world renewal there. And from our country he went out into the Yurok country at Wichpek and Pequan and Wakel and at Thufip, at Rekwa, and he went to Hupa, and at each of these places he said, these are big enough. We can have a world renewal there. Once Káruk Tribe made the ceremonies, then it was time for people to fix the world. The first thing that we're supposed to do is to fix the salmon, is to fix the waters. So through winter time, we are living on all of the food that we've been able to gather and collect and preserve through the fall and through the summer. And then the first spring in April, our first job is to fix the salmon, fix the water. All of the water world must be put in balance first. So we have a ceremony called the First Salmon Ceremony. The First Salmon Ceremony was established so that all of the people would know that the world was now open, that the world was alive and awake. So we had the first salmon ceremony. This time a salmon was caught, and then it was eaten by a man who was hired to pray for all of the water world. When he was finished praying, he would eat as much of the salmon as he can, and then all that was left would be burnt. It would be burnt in a fire, a big fire, and the smoke would rise up into the air. And that smoke would go to heaven. And in Indian heaven, when the smoke arrived, then the ceremony people came back to this world. And they come back, and it takes them 10 days to get here from heaven. And when they arrive, it's brush dance and it's flower dance. And there are 2 girls that arrive. And the people are all waiting. And on the 10th day after the smoke, everybody dances. At Katamin, they dance the flower dance. And at Amikyaram, they dance the Besh dance. After that, there's a jump dance. And it too is to fix the water, to fix the food, and to make everyone happy and feel good and healthy. And that happens in July. And then, after that, in August, then we have the first World Renewal at Inal, at Clear Creek. And then in September, the beginning of September, they have World Renewal at Orleans, Penobneuk. And the day after they finish at Penobneuk, then they have a dance and a ceremony at Kaptimin. And once this is done, in the dark of the moon in September, then the dancing stops. Then at that time is when we begin telling the stories. And we start reminding ourselves of how this world was created and how all the things that we know today, how they were all created. And all the kids will hear the stories of how Buzzard got a red head, why grizzly bears have short ears, why the moon sits up in the sky, why we're not supposed to kill lizard. And we hear that lizard is the husband to all of the girls and frog is the wife to all of the boys. And we find out that everything we do is in relationship to all of the world, everything living in the world. We find out that we're the ones who know their stories. We're the ones who know how they were created. And we're reminded that our job is to fix the world, to fix the earth. Because we grew here just like they did, just like all of the animals and all of the plants and all of the animals, the mountains, the water, we're all a part of the same world. And our job is to fix the world. And their job is to feed us and to clothe us. And so when we fix the world, we fix it for them too. Because in the oldest days, they taught us how to fix the world. They were the first ones to do it. And then we came and we began our job of fixing the earth, fixing the world.